Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Gavin, and this is my YouTube. Decided to take a break today from tractors, trucks, heavy equipment, and take a look at this. I've owned this probably for 3 or 4 years. It is a all original Quadzilla 500. It's one of the fastest four-wheelers ever made from production. And I am the second ever owner. The first owner bought this directly from the dealership. And when they passed away, they had a large collection of four-wheelers, dirt bikes. Believe it or not, that dirt bike also came from the same collection as a Quadzilla. But when I bought this thing, the mice had made such a big nest in the airbox, it actually overflowed the airbox when they were peeing. It ran down into the carburetor, and the pee is so acidic it actually melted the whole carburetor together. I tried soaking it for 6 days, and when I realized it wasn't going to work, I took a hammer to it just to see what would happen, and it was completely fused together. It would have never been repairable. So I did have to buy an aftermarket carb for this. Since buying the aftermarket carb, it's a Keihin, or yeah, Keihin. I noticed it does have the wrong jet in it. It's got a dead spot at like quarter throttle. If you throttle past it, wide open throttle, this thing runs insanely fast. But you can't really putt around or like take off very well because of that dead spot in the throttle. You kind of have to just be running wide open most of the time, which makes it, one, not as enjoyable, but just a little bit more challenging to ride with a group of people or in an area that's not large. So I figured maybe we'll tinker with it today, dust it off. I did notice recently the fuel shutoff is completely seized. I cannot get it to rotate, so I might have to take that apart, see if I can soak it, get that to free up. This machine could use some new front tires, and I do know that there's an issue with one of the front calipers, but I think at this point, you know, dusting it off and getting it to turn on would be a really good start, and then maybe we could address some of the other issues. So let me set you up. In previous attempts of starting this in the past, over the years, it has taken me an easy 30 minutes to get this thing to turn on. I have tried changing the reeds. I'm thinking maybe it also has something to do with this carburetor since the jet's slightly wrong. But so I might speed up through that. For you, it might look like a few seconds, but for me, I'm going to be out of breath. But let's see if we can get this thing fired up and rip around on it. Oh man, after all that, this thing is cold-blooded. I am dying. I'm sweating and the bottom of my foot hurts. But let's see if I can get it to go, stay running, take it for a rip, at least on the driveway. get it to run. The reason we're trying to get it to run, just to show you guys, it does work. It will run. But because of the aftermarket carburetor, it doesn't have the right jet in it. So, about quarter throttle, completely cuts out, falls flat on its face. Wide open throttle, the thing will go. I mean, it'll run with the fastest of them, but Carburetor is out. All right, so I find it pretty important to have a nice clean space to work on, especially when you're dealing with carburetors and small pieces that are included here in this jet kit. So, got our jet kit out, got our carburetor here. We are gonna end up dripping some fuel. It's wild how many overflow hoses are on this. But let's get this thing. You can see the fuel coming out of it. I'm actually making quite a bit of a mess at the moment. So once again, I'm just going to remind you guys, the reason we're changing this is because right now the machine idles fine and at wide open throttle it's fine, but when you go to give it throttle, there's a dead spot about, I'd say, quarter of the way through. So if we look at this, it says that this jet right here is a 160. I know the camera is definitely not going to focus in on that. So that's a 160. So we're starting with a 160. And then, let's see here. What size is this smaller guy? This is a 50. All right, so part of jetting a carburetor, you also have to take into consideration what the spark plug looks like. So first off, I want to preface this. I just found the spark plug already backed out like 3 threads. So I don't even know how it was running because obviously we were losing compression through this. However, I will show you that the tip of this is actually golden brown while the rest of it kind of almost resembles like it was starting to be fouled or too rich. So as far as the main jet goes, I'm at 160 right now. With this kit, I have 2, 4, 6, 7 options above 160 that I could increase this to. Now, I was reading around on some forums. Some people are at 178, some people are at like 170. And like I said, right now I'm at 160. I'm not sure I want to increase this just yet. I think I want to try one thing at a time. Now, from my research, your main jet only kicks in after about 20% of your throttle. I would say I'm experiencing a problem prior to that 20%, which would tell me that it's my pilot jet that's causing an issue. Now, the pilot jet's at a 50, a number 50. So I would want to increase the size of that. However, this kit, of course, only gives me up to 55. So I'm only going to gain a little bit, which a little bit is still, it could be a lot of bit. I don't 100% know. This could also be a combination of changing the pilot jet and changing the main jet a little bit to accomplish the end goal of it, you know, removing the dead spots. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to change the pilot jet up to a 55. So we'll use this one. And for now, I'm going to leave the main jet at 160. We'll basically start it, operate it, see if the dead spot changes at all, and If we see an improvement, that's going to tell me that I need to get a larger pilot jet. If it doesn't improve at all, I would then potentially put the 50 back in and change my main jet. That's the easiest this thing's ever started in the years that I have owned it. No idea why I didn't just buy that jet kit like 4 years ago. If I knew it was gonna start that easy, $14, and this thing starts on the 3rd kick. That's amazing. That is truly amazing. The real question is though, is the dead spot still there? All right, this will be the test. This is a main jet of 178, pilot jet of 55. Well, it still works fine, wide open throttle, but it didn't change anything about the dead spot. If anything, the dead spot seems delayed. I'm wondering if maybe there's an issue with the throttle cable, like it's getting hung up or something, but I think maybe the pilot jet's still not the right size. I think we might have to get some sizes for the pilot jet up from that. And try it again. So this is a cold start. It's about 20 degrees in here. I just changed the jet, the main jet, to a 62 from a 55. Let's see if we got any improvement. Well, we got her started after multiple kicks. So now we just got to see if the new jet will actually make it work. unfortunately, due to it being so cold here in the garage and it being so icy out here on the driveway, I really can't get a good test to see what the new jet did or didn't do for the performance of this machine. So I think I'm gonna have to shelf this project at least until we get some warmer weather and I can actually navigate my driveway again. But thanks everybody for staying tuned and watching. I will put out a second video of this probably in the springtime. I do want to get this thing running so this way it's actually enjoyable to use and doesn't sit as much as it does now. So thanks again, and if you could, let's hit the subscribe button down there so you get notified when I upload another video relating to this. And be sure to leave a comment if you have any suggestions for different things that I should try on the carburetor of this machine. I know there's some guys out there that have a lot of experience with these and they could probably really help me with mine. So thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.